Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're all about cutting through the noise, giving you what you need, structured, synthesized, and
Mhm.
today uh, we've got a really clear mission to understand a technique that can seriously fast-track your journey to speaking English fluently. Naturally, too.
And confidently. That's the big one for many learners.
Exactly. Confidently. We're diving deep into this method called shadowing.
Yeah, and it's probably the single most recommended technique you'll find in like modern language acquisition research, especially for getting over that hesitation.
That stuttering point where you know the word but.
Right, that gap. The source material we looked at is pretty direct. If you want to sound less like you're translating in your head and more like you're just talking,
Yeah.
you really need to get the hang of this.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because when people hear language learning technique, they usually think, flashcards, grammar drills.
Right, the usual stuff.
Shadowing feels different. More physical, more active. Can you give us the sort of quick definition?
Absolutely. The definition itself is simple. It's the doing it that's key. So shadowing is basically listening to a native speaker, could be a podcast clip, news, YouTube, whatever,
Okay.
and repeating what they say as they say it simultaneously. You're not waiting for them to finish.
Ah, okay. So that's the crucial difference. It's not listen, pause, repeat.
No.
It's listen and repeat, like right on their heels. Almost like an echo. But you said focusing on other things, too.
Exactly. Like in an echo, but with feeling. You're trying to mimic their emotion, their rhythm, the stress, the pauses, the whole musicality of
The
it.
music, yeah. That's why the research calls it language karaoke. Right.
Mhm.
But just for speaking.
Pretty much. It zeroes in on articulation and prosody. That's the rhythm and intonation part. For that moment, you care more about how it sounds than what it means.
You're a mimic.
You are. You're training your mouth, literally, the physical movements, to keep up with the native sound.
Okay, I want to dig into that real-time aspect.
Hmm.
Why is forcing yourself to speak right then so much better than the, standard listen, pause, repeat?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. It's about the cognitive load. When you listen, then pause, then repeat, your brain has a little window
A window to do what?
to check back with your native language. You might mentally translate, analyze the grammar, then produce the sound. Shadowing slams that window shut.
Ah, so it bypasses the internal translator.
Exactly. It forces your brain to just operate in English. You don't have the milliseconds to think, okay, I will be home later, dies in German, now back to English.
Right.
You just hear the sounds, and your mouth, your tongue, your articulators, they have to try and make those sounds instantly.
Which gets right at that awful translation pause, that
Yeah.
hesitation when you know what you want to say.
But the words get stuck,
Yes.
but it just won't come out smoothly.
Exactly. And that brings us nicely to the four core benefits that the sources really highlighted why this built confidence so fast.
Okay, lay them out for us.
First, pronunciation. And not just single words, but how native speakers link words together, that linkage and word stress. Huge improvement there.
Linkage. Second, it really trains your ears. Deep listening. You start noticing the nuances, the pauses, the pitch changes, how they reduce small words.
Hold on. Before number three, that active listening part. I'm thinking about learners struggling with hearing say, I would have gone versus I would gone.
Yes. Perfect example.
Does shadowing help with that, catching those little contractions?
Absolutely, because when you force yourself to physically say, I would gone at speed, your ear learns to expect it. You stop trying to hear every single word spelled out.
You hear chunks of sound instead.
Just like a native speaker does. It's a big mental shift.
Okay, that makes sense. So pronunciation, deep listening. What were the other two?
Third, as we touched on, it helps you bypass translation. You start processing and speaking directly in English. And fourth, the big one, real speaking confidence.
Why this method specifically for confidence? Why not just, say, finding a language exchange partner?
Because confidence doesn't come from knowing about the language. It comes from physically doing it successfully. Shadowing gives you hundreds of tiny successes, hundreds of repetitions of native-like speech patterns every single day. You stop wondering, can I say this right?
And start feeling.
I am making these sounds. You're actively doing English, not just studying it passively. That constant application builds confidence that sticks.
That makes total sense. Okay, the sources were clear. Techniques powerful, but you need a plan.
Definitely.
Let's give everyone listening that walkthrough. What are the actual practical steps to start shadowing? Like today.
Right. Let's break down the 4 steps from the material. They're crucial.
Step 1, choosing the right audio. I imagine this is where people can go wrong. Pick something too long, too hard.
Exactly. It has to be manageable. The sources are super specific here. 1 to 3 minutes long. That's it.
1 to 3 minutes, okay.
Ensures you can actually repeat it enough times without getting overwhelmed. Think short news bits, a segment from a YouTube video you like, maybe a clip from a podcast like this one even.
And the criteria.
2 things. Speaker needs to be clear. And, really important, the topic has to be interesting to you.
Motivation.
Totally. If you find it boring, repeating it over and over is just torture. You won't stick with it.
Good point. Okay, got my perfect 90-second clip on, I don't know, cooking. Step 2, still just listening.
Correct. Step 2 is deep listening again, but with a purpose. No speaking yet. This is like your diagnostic phase.
Okay.
Listen for the sound, not just the meaning. Focus on their breathing, their emotion, where the pitch goes up and down. Where do they speed up? You're training your ear to catch details you probably missed before.
Okay, ears primed. I know the music. Now the hard part. Step 3, the actual shadowing, speaking at the same time.
Yeah.
My worry here as a learner would be, won't I just be reinforcing my own bad habits, only faster? How do I make sure I'm actually matching them?
That's a really common and valid concern, and it gets to the heart of why it feels challenging at first. The goal in step 3 isn't instant perfection, it's practice.
Right.
You're trying to match 3 main things: their speed, their intonation, and their emotion. You're sort of verbally jogging alongside them.
Okay.
If you slip back into your old pronunciation, having their correct sound right there in your ear acts as an immediate tiny correction. It's the repetition, day after day, that forces the change. You're physically nudging your mouth towards their pattern.
And step 4 must be about making that less overwhelming, because shadowing a whole 2-minute clip perfectly sounds hard.
It is. Even 2 minutes is way too long to nail perfectly in one go. So step 4 is crucial.
Break it down.
Into smaller bits.
Yeah, small, digestible chunks. The sources recommend about 10 or 15 seconds.
Okay, that feels doable.
So you play 10 seconds, pause, then you shadow just that 10-second chunk maybe 4 or 5 times until it starts to feel almost automatic coming out of your mouth.
This is that muscle memory idea, isn't it? Can you connect that? What should that feel like? Exactly. Language muscle memory means training your tongue, lips, jaw, all the articulators to hit the right spots for sounds and sequences without you consciously thinking about every single movement.
Right.
Repeating those short chunks builds that physical pathway. You're basically moving the task from the slow analytical part of your brain to the fast automatic motor part, effortless speech, eventually.
That structure is super helpful. But, okay, we need to talk about checking your work. How do you actually know if you're improving? Self-correction seems like the really tricky part.
It absolutely is. And it's probably the step most people skip, honestly. Because how do you know if you're matching them accurately? You can't always trust your own ear while you're speaking.
Our brains trick us.
They do. Your brain often hears what it expects to hear or what it thinks it produced.
So what's the pro tip? How do we get around that?
The pro tip is non-negotiable, really. Record yourself.
Okay.
I know. But you have to record yourself shadowing, maybe just a small section, and then immediately listen back and compare it side by side with the original native audio.
And listen for
the differences. Specifically, listen for where your linkage isn't quite right or where your word stress is off. This gives you that real, objective feedback your own ear might miss.
Okay, that sounds uncomfortable. Most people hate hearing their voice, let alone picking apart mistakes. How do you push past that?
You acknowledge it's uncomfortable, but frame it differently. It's not about judgment, it's about data collection.
Data collection, I like that.
Think of it like debugging code. You need to find the errors to fix them. The discomfort is temporary, but the learning it provides speeds things up dramatically. Lean into it.
Okay, high-fidelity debugging for pronunciation.
Got it.
Now, there was also a bonus tip about adding emotion. Why is that so important? Why not just focus on getting the sounds right, even if it's a bit robotic?
Because real language isn't robotic. Naturalness comes from expressiveness. When you shatter this emotion, when you try to act it out a bit, you're doing a couple of things. First, you're engaging more of your brain and body, which actually helps memory. Second, the sources suggest things like, actually smiling while you speak or slightly exaggerating the tone you hear.
Smiling. How does smiling help pronunciation?
It physically changes the shape of your mouth and your vocal tract just slightly. It often brightens the sound, makes it clearer, more forward, which can make you sound more natural in English.
Interesting.
Plus, it helps you sound less monotonous and, frankly, more confident. Because real confidence usually comes with a bit of life in the voice.
Fantastic. Okay, concept check, steps check, pro tips check. Let's nail down the final piece, the daily plan. Needs to be quick, easy to stick to.
Absolutely. So we've synthesized this into a really tight 10-minute daily routine, maximum impact, minimum time. If you commit to this, seriously, just 10 minutes a day, you will see changes, maybe even in just a few weeks.
But consistency is key.
Oh, absolutely. Every day.
Okay, break down the perfect 10 minutes.
It's a simple 3-5-2 structure.
3, 5, 2, go.
Okay. First 3 minutes, just listen to your short audio clip, that 1 to 3 minute one, ears only. Focus on the sounds, the rhythm, the music of it.
Got it. 3 minutes listening.
Next 5 minutes. Shadow it out loud. Play the clip and speak along. You'll probably get through it maybe 2 or 3 times in 5 minutes, maybe breaking it into chunks. Really focus on matching the speed and the emotion.
Okay, 5 minutes of active shadowing. That leaves 2 minutes.
Exactly. The crucial 2 minutes. Record yourself shadowing just a small part of the clip, maybe 20, 30 seconds, then immediately play it back and compare it to the original.
The debugging phase.
That's your diagnosis time. Where did my mouth not quite match the target sound? 3 minutes listen, 5 minutes shadow, 2 minutes record and review, 10 minutes total, done.
That is incredibly efficient. It's all action, very little wasted time.
It prioritizes doing over just studying. You're training your mouth and ear constantly.
You're essentially building that bridge between knowing the language in your head and actually using it smoothly.
Yes. Remember, speaking is a physical skill, like learning guitar or tennis. You improve through deliberate, focused, repeated practice. Shadowing is that intense practice.
So wrapping this up for everyone listening, if you actually do this, this 10-minute routine, what are the changes you'll start to notice?
You'll see it creep into your everyday English. Little by little, you'll notice 3 things. 1, you're speaking more clearly. Those tricky sounds get easier.
Okay.
2, you're thinking faster in English. That lag, that hesitation, it starts to shrink dramatically.
Nice.
And 3, crucially, you just feel more confident when you speak. It feels less like a struggle and more natural, more effortless.
So confidence isn't some magic thing you wait for.
Not at all.
It's the result of actually doing it successfully, over and over.
It comes from using the English you do have consistently and out loud.
We've hopefully shown you how to bridge that gap today, the gap between understanding and actually speaking.
It really does come down to taking action.
So the final thought really is, don't just study English.
Yes.
Speak it, shadow it, live it. The sources are unanimous on this. The more you speak, the better you get. Start with that 10 minutes today. Pick an audio clip you actually like and just start running alongside that native speaker's voice.
You'll be surprised how quickly you feel a difference.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.